To every international student starting or completing their tech degree in the US and wants to get a job on OPT, hoping to be hired at a big tech firm. Well, the truth is that many tech companies are on a hiring freeze or on massive layoffs. So, I am here to talk about your plan B and to help you avoid your biggest career mistakes as an international student in 2025. Hi everyone, I am Tanu. I have completed my dual masters in the US and successfully landed 3 job offers after graduation just outside tech that helped me build a thriving career. So today we are diving deep into the OPT crisis that no one talks about, and more importantly the incredible opportunities waiting for you outside Silicon Valley that could actually give you a more stable path to a successful career in the US. In the next few minutes, I am going to shift your focus from the oversaturated tech market into thriving industries that are desperate for international talent in STEM fields. Plus, I will give you a step-by-step roadmap to land these jobs, and I also have some useful resources linked below that we will talk more about as we go. Let's start with some hard truths that your career counselors or professors might not be telling you. The H1B lottery system is more brutal than ever. Right now, in 2024 alone, we saw approximately 800,000 applications for just 85,000 visas. That's roughly a 1 in a 9 chance of getting selected, and these odds are getting worse every year. But even before we get into the H1B lottery, as STEM students, we need a job that sponsors us, and that's where the real crisis begins. Major tech companies have eliminated over 260,000 positions since 2022, and we are talking about Google, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, the very companies that international students have been told to target from the very beginning. And it's not just about the senior roles that are being cut. In entry level positions that new grad programs are built around, they are being slashed to an unprecedented rate. So there is this fundamental shift happening right now. On top of the layoffs and hiring freezes, the remote work capabilities also has some challenges. It's like many companies can now hire talent globally without sponsorship, so they are also preferring that. And because of the AI revolution, the entry level coding jobs are also being eliminated. But it's not all bad. The exciting part is that while everybody is fighting over those tech jobs, there are entire industries that are desperately seeking the exact skills that you have as an international student. Industry where the STEM background, the multilingual abilities, the global perspective, they are not just nice to have, but they are our competitive advantage. And we are talking about sectors with labor shortages, growing demand, and companies that actively want to sponsor international talent because they know that they can't find the qualifications in the country to fill these roles. So, the main question for you right now is not whether you can pivot or not, but if you are willing to think beyond Silicon Valley dream and explore where the real opportunities are right now. Let's talk about some unconventional paths. Healthcare. This is a $4.3 trillion industry in the US, and it's absolutely starving for talent with tech skills. Healthcare employment is projected to grow 13% in the next 5 years, and that's faster than any other sector. But here's what most people don't realize. This isn't just about becoming like doctor or a nurse. Think about healthcare data analysis, for example. Hospitals and health systems, they are drowning in data, and they are desperate for people who can make sense of it for them. Clinical research coordinators in these pharmaceutical companies, they need people to manage the data that is coming along with these drug trials, and your attention to detail and analytical skills, they are actually perfect for this. Medical device companies like Medtronic, Abbott, they are constantly hiring for like quality assurance, regulatory affairs, technical support roles, and these companies love international students because we bring that fresh perspective to global markets. I know one student who actually pivoted and started his first job from maybe 70 to $80,000, and he got his H1B sponsored in the first year, and now he manages compliance for all the medical devices sold across Asia. Because every industry kind of needs data people, and in these industries there's less competition than tech. Now let's see which other industries outside healthcare can we look at. Let's talk about financial services. There's banks, there's insurance companies, investment firms. They are desperate for people who are who can analyze risk, who can build predictive models. There are companies like JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, and some local banks. They're always ready to hire analysts. Let's talk about retail. Think beyond like Amazon. There are companies like Walmart, Target, Home Depot. They need supply chain analysts. They need inventory optimization specialists. They need customer behavior analysts. So if you can work with these large data sets and you can do the problem solving and think systematically, this is exactly what you need to get into the doors of these big companies. And there's manufacturing that gets absolutely zero attention from international students. Supply chain management, that is the backbone of global trades, and it is facing a massive talent shortage right now. So think about positions like supply chain analyst, logistics coordinators, procurement or vendor management specialists. Companies like UPS, other manufacturers like GE, Boeing, Ford, Toyota, they all support and sponsor. In fact, I was doing vendor management, account management, along with data analysis in the same space. So our international experience, actually coming from a different culture, actually makes us incredibly valuable for managing these international suppliers and coordinating the global operation. Plus, many of these companies actually have diversity initiatives specifically targeting international talent. And yes, we might be wondering, oh my god, it's not going to pay me $200,000 that I am here for, but to be honest, that's a pay range that is not even close to an average what people are making here. And for that level of pay raise, honestly, you need to be, I don't know, in the 0.1% of the population. You need to be that good with whatever you're doing. So if that's not the case and you are good and you're okay taking risk, then the compensation at these jobs is also from high 5 figures to the starting. It leads up to that 6-figure salaries with some years of experience. The demand is also high, and companies are also willing to sponsor the H1Bs, which can eventually help you with your green card as well. And that's not even the best part. The best part is that these industries, they're also not going anywhere. They are recession proof. People will always kind of need healthcare. Companies will always need to move products around the world, and data will always need analysis. Now let's talk about the hidden job market. Here's something that actually might shock you. The 80% of the jobs are never posted publicly. They are filled through referrals and networking, and that is what is the hidden job market. While there are thousands of people who are, on LinkedIn and Indeed, and they're looking for they're applying to the same job post over and over again, there's this entire opportunity happening behind the closed doors. To be honest, if you go on LinkedIn right now and you look at the number of applicants for one job post in the tech companies, you will see from anywhere between 2,000 to 5,000 to 8,000 applications. This is just so normal. So just plain applying on these job platforms is not going to cut it for you. You need to tap into the secret weapon here, which is called the professional associations for every industry. So if you're interested in healthcare, join the Healthcare Financial Management Association or the American Health Information Management Association. these organizations have local chapters that host monthly networking events, and guess what? The room is actually full of hiring managers who are actively seeking for talent, and they're coming to these, and they're coming and participating in these joint efforts and network events in order to fill certain roles in their companies and learn more about you. If you want to get into data roles, consider joining the International Institute for Analytics, or you can also be more specific and join Retail Analytics Council. Yes, there is certain membership fees to all these associations, but this is the best investment you can make in your job search. Similarly, I have created a list of all these associations based on their specific industry. So download that guide from the comment section. I would say after this video, go ahead and download that link and research at least 3 professional associations from the target industry that you might be interested in, and at least join one of those. Attend one of these events, even if it's virtual, and see what you can learn out of it and if it's of any help to you. Now let's talk about another underutilized job search strategy that actually no one talks about. That's the informational interviews. It's not about getting embarrassed and you're like, hey, can I get a job at your company? No, it's not like that. But you are just requesting like 15 to 20 minutes of someone's time to learn more about their career path and industry insights. And the beautiful thing is that most professionals actually love talking to newbies and talk about their work. So if you send enough messages, 30% of people will definitely say yes. And during those conversations, you can discuss about the company challenges, you can dig deeper into the roles they're looking to fill, and you can share your resume with them just for some feedback as well. And that is a great way to just be on top of their minds when an actual position opens up in their company. A quick LinkedIn message that you can send them could be something like, hey, hi, I'm Tanu, I'm a recent graduate exploring careers in retail, for example. Would you be open to a brief call to share insights about your path? I am particularly interested in understanding the skills that are most valuable in this field. And that's it, that's enough. If you like that message, I have a lot of similar email templates and LinkedIn templates that I have listed in the guide as well. So go ahead and download that guide from the comment section. That will really help you get started. And like I mentioned, the other tech recruiters, they're really scanning through thousands of applications every day. But when it comes to specialized recruiters, and if you're sending your resume through someone you've done so and you've been interacting and networking in the company, it'll be easier to get the recruiters focus on you, as long as you're reaching out proactively. And I've created a list of these agencies with their contact info, which you can download from the link. Similarly, send them a LinkedIn message like, hey, just telling them, hey, I'm an international student, I'm looking to break into this industries, and it's okay if you don't have immediate openings, but if you can keep me in mind for future opportunities, that would be great. All right, let's talk about the strategic skill development and what skills do we bring to these industries. You might be wondering that, oh, I've been doing tech and now how should I prepare for these other industries? So you already have the transferable skills. You already probably are doing quantitative data analysis in your course. You already have those problem solving abilities. You also probably have research abilities, which is perfect for market analysis and BI roles. So look for similar transferable skills from your resume, from your courses, and from your past experience that can translate beautifully into these non-tech industries. Another advantage I think we have as international students, inherent adaptability. There are so many times recruiters will ask us, what's your greatest strength? So talk about adaptability, because you have navigated complex visa processes, and you've adapted to a new culture so beautifully, and you've succeeded in your educational system. and in grabbing that interview. So talk about these experiences, because these are not you didn't just do them to get a job, but these are like life experience, and these are looked at as professional competencies. That cross cultural communication skill is exactly what the company is looking for in order to expand. So how would you reframe your experience? Instead of just saying, hey, I'm a computer science student, just say that I am a quantitative analyst with cross-cultural communication skills and experience managing complex and ambiguous challenges. See, that doesn't sound so bad, right? I would be happy to hire this person. Find what you're good at and reframe that experience so that you sound important. Along with these transferable skills, and on top of what you've done, add certain specific competencies that really make you irresistible. For example, if you already know everything about data analysis, maybe couple that up with a project management professional certificate or a Google project management certificate. It's not that you want to pivot into a project management. If you do that, is just an awesome, but it definitely opens more doors for you in the industry. It also makes you stand out, because you can now do a lot of things outside that job description that can really help you and the team in growing. Because now along with researching and doing that market analysis, you can also develop a plan that has a budget and timelines laid out for all the teams on that project. Sounds interesting, right? So yeah, similarly, search the tools used in the target industry. I know, like in supply chain, everybody uses SAP and Oracle, and finance, you might use SQL. So just pick one and become really proficient in it. If you still have 3 to 6 months before you can get that job, I would say pick one certification or one skill that you can really become good at. Study every day for 1 to 2 hours about it. Take some practice exams, give the exam, and add it to your LinkedIn profile, and that will really make you stand out in your application. Even I completed like a SAFE certificate, and I think I got 3 interviews just asking me, oh, have you completed this certification? I was like, yes, and that's all what they needed to give me an interview. So by the time you graduate, you will see that you do have unique assets and skill set to showcase to the recruiters and the hiring managers in the company that will really make you a strong candidate. Let's focus on your actionable roadmap right now. Your resume needs to speak the language of the target industry if you really need to get a job there. Not just listing your technical skills will help you. If you're targeting like healthcare, then emphasize on the research experience, the attention to detail. If it's supply chain, then highlight any experience with process improvement and optimization or coordination. Take any of your existing project and reframe them to your target industry. Like if it was a machine learning project that you did, then for healthcare it will become maybe predictive and analytics for patient outcomes. If it was finance, then maybe it would be like a risk assessment modeling. So your cover letter should really tell the story of why you're passionate about this specific industry, and research recent industry challenges and explain how your skills can help solve these. And this will show that you understand the business, not just the technical side of it. Again, to crack the interviews, behavioral questions are very important, and that's also a big focus for non-tech industries. Something like, tell me about a time you had to work with someone from a very different background, or describe a situation where you had to adapt quickly to changing requirements. And your experience of adapting to a new country and the new educational system can also are really good examples to give you that credibility. I've listed 10 behavioral questions that are very popular in the interview. So along with the behavioral interviews, definitely research the current trends in your target industry, what challenges they are facing, and this information you should have from your interview, from your informational interviews. So weave this knowledge into those answers, and show the recruiters like how serious you are and how hard you work to prepare for this interview. Another approach to for the job strategy that is not emphasized on as much is identify 3 to 5 professionals in your target industry and systematically like build relationships with them, not just to like get jobs, but in order to really understand the market, understand the company, understand the role, just dig deeper into the professional careers at all levels, and that will give you some beautiful insights that will help you grow in your career wherever you go. So reach out to these people on LinkedIn, and again, use the template that is linked in the comment section, and attend the events that they are speaking at, and provide value wherever possible. Let's bring this all together. The tech, I was not trying to say that the tech industry is a dead end, but yes, there are really big challenges right now moving in that direction. So it's not bad to have a plan B, because there are opportunities that exist in the non-tech side of things. Remember that you can always look at healthcare, supply chain, data analytics roles across industries that are actively seeking international talent. Do check out the professional associations from the list, and try to attend at least one networking event. That will really give you a broader perspective on how things work in the US. So focus on the mindset shift. Instead of just limiting yourself to tech roles, start seeing yourself as a quantitative problem solver with a global perspective. That will really help you add value across multiple industries. So to summarize everything, research the industries, join one professional association, identify at least 2 to 3 professionals in your target industry, use the templates, reach out to them, set up some informational interviews, and start studying at least one certification and skill development. And hopefully this will all really set you up and create opportunities for you when you are ready for the job. If this video helped shape your perspective, or at least helped one person see things in a different light, hit the like button and subscribe for more career strategy content. Drop a comment also letting me know which industry you are most excited about, and if there's anything more that you need help with, I will read all the comments and answer each one. Time really has shifted. It's no longer just about luck in your career. You have to work with some strategy, you have to persist, and you have to be willing to see opportunities where others see obstacles. So go make it happen. Bye.